We are back for a third time today. So consider like, sharing, subscribing, all the good stuff because this is going to be a regular thing. Liverpool 2, Arsenal 2. Wearing this United jersey for one reason because you know what? Screw Liverpool, screw Arsenal. We don't like either of them. That game was it was interesting to say the least because Liverpool in the first half should have been easily like 5-6 nil up. Even if they were 10 nil up, you couldn't say anything. You know why? Because just like the Barcelona game that we saw, on transition, they were dangerous. Every single time they won the transition, they looked like they were about to score. Hot knife through butter. That's the saying for that first half, especially that first 30 minutes. When they scored number one, and then immediately after that, they scored number two, you thought it was probably going to be just like how they demolished Spurs last weekend. Just like how they've done many times before this, where they just go on a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We all United fans know this very well. It just happens sometimes. And especially with Liverpool, especially at Anfield, especially with this Liverpool, you know what? We all expected that to happen. But somehow after 2-0, goals dry up. Even though the chances kept coming. Arsenal trying to push forward. But you know what? They're trying to pack their midfield. Wasn't working. They kept giving the ball to Liverpool on the transition to, you know what? Inviting them. You know what? Come. Counter us. Counter us. And then Arsenal get caught out. Liverpool score 1, 2, and then just keep on going. But that was justice. Because you know what? Arsenal, they're just horrible to watch. We all saw what happened against Paris. Both legs. Arteta talking about, you know what? I'm the best manager. I coached a perfect win. We deserve to win, even though they were 3 goals down on aggregate. He keeps talking about things where, you know what? He keeps putting Arsenal in this good light. Who does that remind us of? Eric Ten Hag, maybe. Because he used to say the same thing. You know what? It was never him. It was always luck or other people who were always at fault. It was never Arteta. And it's the same thing here. He keeps on pushing blame on other people. You saw what he said after the Newcastle game in the League Cup. He blamed the shape of the ball, how the ball was a reason that they didn't get through. Even if the ball wasn't good enough, didn't Newcastle face the same issues? So why are you moaning? Why are you whinging on about, you know what, all conditions are harsh? The only good thing I could say is because they drew 2-2 now, they might not even secure that second spot that they were moaning about. For 3 years, they've always failed in a title race. You know, they always talk about how Tottenham failed in a 2-man title race, how they finished third in a 2-man title race. Arsenal might be just about to do the same thing. They might just do the exact same thing. They've been second for how long in the season? In fact, at one point, Arsenal fans thought, you know what, we might pip them to the league. We might actually win the league over Liverpool. But yeah, too bad that didn't happen, did it? Now that we're here, Arsenal might actually finish not third, maybe even fourth or fifth, considering how everything else happens. Second off, let's be fair. Regardless of what we think about Arsenal, they did manage to pull themselves back. From the start, Martinelli scores and then immediately it's game on. From that moment on, pressure was piling and it was all Arsenal. Let's be fair. Arsenal pulled themselves back. Odegaard with a shot against the crossbar. It rebounds. Fortunate enough for Arsenal and Merino scores. Boring part. But it's Arsenal showing you that they are not meant for the big leagues. That they are always the sidekick. They are not the main character. Why do I say this? Because do you remember last season when they drew 0-0 at home away rather at the Etihad to Manchester City? Who they were chasing in a league title race? What do you think should be happening late on in the season when you're facing an arch rival? You might say, you know what, a 0-0 is fine. But the thing is, when you give them a 0-0 and when you're celebrating a 0-0, that shows everybody that, you know what, you're not serious. Because even if you wanted a 0-0, you wouldn't celebrate that if you really thought, you know what, we're going to win this league. Because you think we should have got a 1 goal. Because that 1 goal You winning there could put you ahead, not just equal. And this is where Arsenal get it wrong. This is where Arsenal fans get it wrong. You need to cross that barrier, and you don't have the players to cross that barrier. You have the players to just reach there, which is why you just about reach a Champions League semi-final, which is why you just take the title race to the last day. But that's the reason you don't win it finally, because you just don't have it. Like, you can talk about, United being in 15th. You can talk about, I don't know, Tottenham even being in 16, 17, wherever they are. But the thing is, anyhow, you're going to lose. Because if United win the final, despite everything that we've done, we still won a trophy. Another European trophy to add to the cabinet, but you don't have any. If Tottenham win a trophy, it's going to be 10 times worse. Why? Because they're your arch rivals. At the same time, everybody banters Tottenham about, not having a trophy. They could do much better. And what do they exist for? Arsenal fans lead this charge, by the way. If United lose, if Tottenham were to actually make it through, and if they win the Europa League, that's a European trophy. By the way, it's another European trophy added to their cabinet, because they already do have one or two Europa Leagues from the past. So this is another Europa League added to this entire cabinet. At the same time, since Arteta has been here, in that case, you would have won only one FA Cup, and Tottenham has already won a Europa League, which is way more valuable than an FA Cup. So if we're to take it like that, even Spurs kind of eclipse you. So what is Arsenal then? You talk about other clubs being, unrealistic, about them being, meaningless. What about you guys? What do? You would say that finishing second without a trophy is probably an amazing thing. But I think at the end of the season, let's say United happen to win the Europa League and Arsenal finish second, no trophies obviously. What is the final outcome? So what I see is Arsenal have finished second, third, fourth, whatever. They have qualified for Champions League in second, third or fourth pot. If United win the Europa League, they have also qualified for the same Champions League. But the difference is, here we have qualified into the first spot. And when you're put into the first spot, you obviously have an advantage over second, third, fourth spot. At the same time, you have won a trophy. And that's one more thing you can keep in your cabinet. And that's not all. When you win the Europa League, what happens? You go to the Super Cup final. And when you go to the Super Cup final, that's another final trophy. That's another trophy you could add to the cabinet. Maybe you don't win it, but at least you're there in another final, which again, Arsenal don't have. So considering all this, who would have had the better season when one of us win the Europa League? Would it be the Europa League winner, or would it be Arsenal? Pretty obvious, isn't it? Arsenal fans, you deserve this. For every season, you think you're going to win it, but you're just not good enough. You don't realize it. One day you'll realize is one day it's going to hit hard, and when it hits hard, it's going to hit very, very hard. Anyways, Marino got a red card after that. You could argue, Liverpool should have scored, but they didn't really care. Because, they're probably going to have their trophy lift. I'm not going to watch that because, it's Liverpool anyways, so screw them. They're going to lift their trophy, so they didn't really care. Do you think if they wanted to get a goal, they wouldn't have got a goal? No, they would have got one, but they just don't care. At the end, Lewis Kelly fouled by Konate, and because of that, Liverpool are denied a last-minute winner in their last home game of the season. What could have been dramatic? Let me ask you one thing, guys. Do you think that was a foul? Because I know the commentators were saying that's a foul. And many Arsenal fans will obviously say, yeah, that was a foul. If you ask me, should Konate be fouled or penalized for being extremely strong and for Lewis Kelly just being a twig? Because what I would compare this to is, let's say Harry Maguire jumped over Harry Amas. What do you think the scenario would be? If Maguire was to challenge Harry Amas would crumble. Because Maguire is just a giant. He is strong. And obviously he's got power. Harry Amos, on the other hand, is the complete opposite. He is small, he is not good in the air, and he'd probably crumble at the smallest touch. So, you penalizing Ibrahim Konate for being strong shouldn't be the norm, but it is the norm everywhere you see in the Premier League. If you see in the La Liga, it's the same thing. Fouls get given for ridiculous fouls. Like that isn't even a foul, but it was given, and because of that, goal chalked off. You know what? Fortunate for Liverpool, they already won the league, but it's probably not going to be Liverpool who have a problem with this. It's probably going to be Newcastle, Chelsea, Manchester City, Aston Villa, Forest. These teams could have had an advantage because if Liverpool win, that's Arsenal denied one more point, because of which one of these guys could get a Champions League spot or they could get a higher spot, which is now denied because referees deem that being strong is a foul. Anyway, make of that what you will. That's Liverpool 2, Arsenal 2. Arsenal make it through just about. Liverpool win the league. They're going to lift the trophy after this. And Arsenal get that 1 point. They're closer to Champions League. Anyway, yeah, that's 2-2. And see you all in the next one.